Hey, we are back online.
All right. Well, welcome back, those thousands of viewers. All right. Okay. So our next item is
Move to approve.
move to approve consent items. Thank you, Trustee
Second with
Rye.
the request. Wilson?
I think it's a public board meeting. Move to approve.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We're at the public board meeting. Yes. Thank you. Seconded
Yeah.
by Trustee Wilson.
Wilson with the request.
Please. Go ahead.
Just in addition to the minutes, which is just friendly, I've already sent it to our assistant. But in the minutes to note, time to time, due to intermittent technology issues during the public meeting, Vice Chair Wilson stepped in on behalf of Chair Peterson as necessary. That's it.
Thank you. And I appreciate you having stepped in on that. I think I have my technology problem solved. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're looking for voting buttons on that. And Trustee Roach, wow, there we go. Trustee Roach, you're up still.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing voting buttons. I'm trying to sync the tech here, but I don't see them. You
Move
can
to
vote.
receive.
Yeah, vote affirmative for me if I
Okay,
don't
thank
vote
you for
online.
that. All right.
Second consent.
Yeah, all right.
Wilson.
Trustee Rye, Trustee Wilson.
Just wanted to say move to receive and approve the consent items. Just
Thank
with a little comment that we are just receiving these consent items. Whatever's in there is not up for discussion.
That's right. Exactly. Yes. Yes. Okay. So looking for,
Seconded.
and I think we had a mover already on that.
Wilson had seconded.
Okay.
I had moved it.
Thank you. Trustee Wright, Trustee Wilson, thank you. I'm not seeing hands and things, so it's a little more difficult to. All right. And we're looking for voting buttons on that. Okay, and with that, let's see. We're up to. Do we go through approval of each of the minutes of these? Somebody remind me the protocol.
No.
No, we don't. They're
All
done.
done.
Chair, at this
Okay.
time, it would be delegations presentations.
Okay, all right. Well, I have a statement here, and again, it's because he was so very well known and respected as an educator in our community. I suspect that many will already have heard this, but I share the sad news of the passing of a colleague and a respected educator, John Roberts. John was a dedicated educator and a long-serving principal who began his career with the district in 1974 at what is now Samath Elementary School. He later served as vice principal at McMillan, Centennial, and John McClure, and as principal at Dunac and John McClure Elementary Schools. He concluded his career as a middle school principal for 9 years at W.A. Fraser Middle School, and he in fact opened that as a middle school, and then Colleen and Gordie Howe Middle. Remember John for his devotion to education and the lasting impact. Oh my goodness, I just, for whatever reason, lost. Anyhow, we pass on behalf of the board condolences to John's family, to all the people who knew him, all the people who had the great privilege to work with him. He was a great educator. Okay, we're on to education agenda items. I'll turn it over to Superintendent Nang.
Great. Thank you, Chair Peterson. It's my pleasure to introduce Michelle Garing, our Director of Instruction for Learning Support Services. Director Garing an update to the board on progress towards the district strategic plan related to student success, engaging opportunities, and a progressive workforce. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Michelle.
Thank you, Superintendent Ning. Good evening, everyone. I am very happy to join you this evening with a report on the contributions of the Learning Support Services Department. Looking back at our last year's strategic plan. I've got Carissa controlling my slides for me, so we'll keep going. I apologize in advance for any coughing. I have a lingering cough that just won't go away. So our LSS team works in close partnership with schools, families, and community partners, all with the goal of maximizing the learning potential of each and every student. And we did some work at the start of this year as a department to explore our shared purpose. And as a collective, we are committed to fostering trusting communities where everyone belongs, is valued, and is empowered to develop their potential and thrive. And so this sense of belonging and empowerment is at the heart of everything that we do, and it guides our approach to supporting students across the district. Our LSS department is made up of a very diverse team of professionals who work together to support students across the district. So all of these roles work collaboratively with schools to address the unique needs of our students. This year, we've added several new positions to our team. Those are marked with the asterisks on the slide. And, you know, the change in staffing and these additions reflect our ongoing commitment to addressing the emerging needs and enhancing support for students and staff. And so together, this large district team forms the backbone of our efforts to foster inclusive, supportive learning environments in every school throughout our district. Across the district, we also have a robust network of school-based supports. And I think it goes without saying that EAs play a vital role in supporting our students with disabilities and diverse abilities. And this year we have more educational assistants than ever in our schools. But alongside EAs, school teams include learning support teachers, counselors, and youth care workers, and they all work collaboratively to foster inclusive learning environments at their sites. So that was just a bit of an overview of the department and some of the learning services across the district. Now we're going to go take a look back at last year and some of our strategic priorities. First, starting with the pillar of student success. So keeping in line with the district and the board's strategic priority of literacy, we had an objective to support the literacy development of students with disabilities or diverse abilities. And last year, our team engaged in several key activities to advance this goal. I'm particularly proud and excited about a pilot project that we did that brought literacy instruction to non-speaking students through a program called Early Reader Skill Builders. And we piloted this in middle school. As a result of that, we're actually expanding ERSB into most of our secondary schools this year. So really addressing literacy and the right to read for each student. We also worked to increase accessibility to literacy. We're fortunate to have provincial partners like SETBC or ArcBC to deliver presentations and share strategies for students with a variety of accessibility needs. And we also began exploring new technology and AI tools to further enhance literacy support. This learning is ongoing, but there's lots of really cool opportunities with that. And so these activities reflect our commitment to breaking down barriers to access, and ensuring that each student has the resources and opportunities they need to be successful in literacy, regardless of their ability or disability. Our next objective was to increase capacity to implement evidence-based strategies that support mental health and wellness for students. Last year, we were able to train additional staff, youth care workers, to be Roots of Empathy facilitators. And we were able to bring Roots into 10 classrooms, which is super exciting. And if you don't know, Roots of Empathy is an evidence-based social emotional program that connects a class with a parent and their baby. And then students are coached to recognize and connect with that baby who visits their classroom over the course of the school year. And so through guided observation, the children learn how to label the baby's feelings and emotions, learn about different emotions and perspective taking, and they watch the baby grow and develop. And then they build connections and talk about healthy relationships. And all of this while gaining empathy skills that are beneficial in creating caring and peaceful societies, which is the goal of the Roots of Empathy program. Schools are actively engaging with our department to learn more about how to implement universal strategies that promote the holistic incorporation of SEL learning in classrooms, so that SEL becomes not something we do, but just how we do everything. Educators across the district are engaged in this work with us, and we were really excited to support SEL inquiry projects at 8 schools last year, and 24 environmental design initiatives working with teachers to create supportive, calm, and regulated learning spaces. So all these different activities are helping educators to integrate social emotional learning into everyday classroom experiences, with our goal of fostering environments where students feel safe and valued and empowered to achieve their best. And we continue to work towards improving career training opportunities for students with disabilities or diverse abilities. Last year, our team supported students through a variety of activities, including organizing mock interviews, facilitating community work experience placements. We have more businesses that are partnering with us than ever before, really exciting opportunities in our community. And helping students to earn certifications like WMIS and First Aid, which then they can add to their resumes. And we also help support the expansion of different school-based opportunities that help support the learning and growth when students maybe aren't able to go out on external work experience. All of these experiences are providing that real-world opportunity and build practical skills that will hopefully prepare our students for future employment opportunities when they leave us. So that was our student success pillar. We did have also a couple goals under engaging opportunities. And so we really focused last year on having more opportunities for parents and community partners to come together and work with us. And so over the past year, various members of our department gave talks to parent advisory councils. They were being invited in. We held sessions for parents on different topics, for example, understanding and supporting youth with ADHD, and tried to create opportunities like drop-in sessions. And so our middle school clinicians offered up support during drop-in sessions to learn more about community resources that are available and for supporting youth with mental health concerns. All of these help connect our families, schools, and community resources so that parents can feel more supported. I'd like to highlight a couple of the incredible extracurricular opportunities that we were able to support for students with disabilities last year. So in particular, our summer camps that were co-sponsored and run by the Child Development Center were a huge success. And this is where students in wheelchairs come together. And one camp was like a dance camp for these students, and another was baking. And so really exciting for them, I think, and for the parents and those who were working with them as well. We also had deaf and hard of hearing students take part in a regional overnight camp. And so another really cool opportunity for them to build friendships and memories that will last a lifetime and to connect with peers that are like them. And so experiences like these, go beyond the classroom and empower our students and show that our learners can be part of something really exciting and meaningful. And then finally, we also had a goal under progressive workforce. And this is kind of an ongoing piece for our department. And as we focus on increasing the capacity of staff to understand and proactively plan for students with challenging behavior, it's important to recognize the growing complexity of needs that we're seeing across our schools. And, across Abbotsford, staff rise to meet these challenges every day. And we have incredibly dedicated people who are very adaptable and are really compassionate in their work with our students. And so addressing the complexity remains a priority for us. And last year, in order to do this, we engaged the services of a couple of board certified behavior analysts, so BCBAs, who have advanced training in addressing challenging behavior. And they provided some staff training on positive behavior interventions and supports. And we were able to bring them in to consult with schools on program design and implementation with some of our most challenging students. And as a result of this work, we also created our own district behavior specialist position to continue that much needed work to support schools with their complex needs. And that brings us to this year. So looking ahead to what's in store for the 25-26 school year, we continue to have some similar priority focuses, building on some of the momentum that we started last year. And so our key focus areas will be continue to be literacy for students with disabilities, looking at well-being, safety, work experience, and strengthening those strategic community partnerships. And these future plans reflect our ongoing commitment to supporting each learner and fostering inclusive, thriving school communities. So really excited to continue this work and this journey that we're on, and to celebrate everyone who is a part of the work that we do. They all have such meaningful impact, and it's really important work. And so Christy and her team have done a video. This is the first one I've done. And so what is the story of the LSS department? I hope that you'll be able to see kind of the fulsome approach that we're taking through this video and the celebration of those that are doing amazing work in our schools. Hello, I'm Michelle Gehring, Director of Instruction for Learning Support Services in the Abbotsford School District. The Learning Support Services Department exists to foster inclusive communities where everyone belongs, is valued, and is empowered to develop their potential. Our team ensures students are supported in all the ways that shape their school experience. We work closely with schools, families, and community partners to help students build confidence, navigate challenges, and experience success in ways that are meaningful to them. Educational assistants and school-based learning support staff in every school play a central role in the day-to-day support of our students. Our district learning support services team includes a wide range of professionals, including specialists in inclusive education, behavior support, mental health, social emotional learning, speech and language pathology, hearing and vision supports, counseling, school psychology, youth care work, and work experience. Each of these amazing team members serve students across the district with care, skill, and dedication. One of our key focus areas has been literacy for students with disabilities and diverse learning needs. In partnership with the curriculum department, we strengthened reading instruction for students with complex needs, piloted new programs, and improved our understanding of student progress. At the same time, we work to make literacy instruction more accessible by providing specialized tools and technology to students with disabilities and other learning needs, as well as exploring new digital resources to help all learners. Student well-being and mental health have been a major focus of our work. Our teams bring programs into classrooms that help build empathy, work with outside organizations on substance use prevention, and facilitate small group activities that support students in managing worry and stress. We also offer learning sessions for staff focused on both student and adult wellness. Alongside this, we partner with schools to enhance social emotional learning in classroom activities through training, classroom programs, and school-wide inquiry projects. We have also guided schools in creating learning environments that feel calm, welcoming, and supportive of focused, regulated learning. Another important part of our work focuses on students with disabilities as they learn and grow beyond the classroom. This includes career training such as mock interviews, community work placements, and training programs like First Aid and WMIS. Staff have also created meaningful school-based opportunities like cafes, popcorn carts, laminating services, and car detailing. Inclusive extracurricular opportunities, summer camps, and regional programs are also available thanks to our community partners. These experiences help students gain practical skills, build confidence, explore future employment pathways, and create lasting memories. We deeply value partnerships with families and work to build strong, trusting relationships through presentations, school meetings, and drop-in sessions with our clinicians. As the needs of our students become increasingly complex, we remain committed to creating safe and caring schools. Staff across the district participate in crisis prevention training, we have expanded access to behavior specialists, and we approach complex situations with trauma-informed planning, always mindful of each student's unique circumstances. These efforts help ensure that responses are proactive, safe, and supportive. Our learning support services team are dedicated to ensuring that each learner experiences a true sense of belonging, is celebrated for their individual strengths, and is provided with meaningful opportunities to grow and succeed.
All right. And I wonder if you could, there we go. Great presentation. Questions, comments from colleagues? Trustee Wilson.
Thank you, Chair Peterson. Ms. Gehring, I just want to thank you for your report and the work that you've done. When you read the actual progress report attached, quite a bit has been done. So I have a question and a comment, although I've already made a comment. Another comment. One is that I love the word each that you used in your video. I'm a big fan of each because we have over 20,000 students and none of them are the same. So thank you for that. I saw the superintendent smiling because he knows that's a word that I love. My question is, looking at your strategies from last year as it applies to the board's strategic plan, were there any that were just too difficult, were removed, that you're going to bring forward for next year? What does that look like as you move into the new year?
I think, for this year's plan, I am definitely going to streamline because we have, for each of those objectives, we have a lot of parts on our work plan. And so, the team was a little bit disjointed just because there was so much. So this year I am going to narrow it down a little bit, but everybody is really keyed in and we're being really intentional and targeted with some of the work plan to make sure that it's more fulsome. Like the team does amazing work, but we're really trying to promote that alignment across our department itself. And so that each, like mini department within LSS can see themselves reflected in the work that we're doing for the strategic plan. So it'll continue with the same themes, just, a little bit more focused and with more intention. I don't know if that answers, if that's.
It does. But again, thank you for your commitment and your leadership in LSS. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Trustee Kaler.
Thank you, Chair Peterson, and thank you, Ms. Gehring, for that presentation. That was amazing, especially that video to sum everything up at the end and recognizing so many people. And that it's just so inspiring and so motivating to see the amazing work that is going on in our district, right? A quick question I did have for you. I'm just curious, through the vape-free program that we saw from Stanford University, were there any pre and post program data indicators collected to measure the change in student knowledge or even attitudes or behavior? And based on those outcomes, if we do have those reports, is there a plan to expand this district wide, or what are your thoughts on that?
That's a really great question. I don't have the details around if there were any pre or post. Mm-hmm. I do know that is a program that Stanford put out. There are resources available for the different levels, and that is something that we're looking at as part of our, with Stanford, it's around nicotine prevention or whatever, but it is part of our bigger strategy around substance use prevention, fitting under that wellness and well-being category. So there is a plan to continue facilitating that work. I'm sorry, I don't have the details of where it was run, if there was pre-post. So
no problem, and thank you for sharing that. It's just very important, right, that young students know the implications of using substances, especially when they're so young. They just don't know, right? So if there could be something, and of course we will explore that, there's having something district wide where we have that prevention piece. But thank you so much.
All right, Trustee Candarajwa.
Thank you, Chair Wilson. Chair Peterson. Thank you, Ms. Gehring,
Old habits, and that's quite okay.
I know, right? Thank you, Ms. Gehring, for the presentation. A couple of comments. I appreciate hearing that we have more EAs in our district, because that's been a common conversation of having more EAs on the floor. I saw in the video that there was a dog that comes to the schools, and that's so great, because in my kids' class today, I saw the dog. And it just creates such a calming environment. So I love seeing that. So a couple of them, I'm curious, like, how does the dog get moved around between different schools? Like, is there a schedule? Or like, how does that work? Does it go to certain students? That's my first question.
So the dog you saw, I believe it was one of the PADS dogs. So it has specific training. It stays with its owner, handler. Okay. I'm not sure what the right word is. Okay. So whatever school they're at, that dog stays there. Okay. We do work with St. John's Ambulance Pause for Reading, where they have dogs that they bring in. And I'm not sure how those schools are selected, but they do go into schools, and then the kids get to go and read with the dog. And so that rotates around throughout. But I agree, there's so much power in them. Yeah.
Okay, and I kind of an extension of what Trustee Kaler was saying there. I appreciate the strategies that we've had listed when it comes to the UNE Together Vape-Free program. I'm definitely interested in learning more about that. My curiosity, once again, as always, is like, how can we extend that information to immigrant families? Like, because sometimes those families are not aware of when it comes to vaping, or how young it happens, or just the implications of it.
Yeah, and we are working for particularly in middle, because we are seeing an increase in students having access and use at the middle school years, but also connecting with parents. And so there's been presentations at different PAC meetings or DPAC, and but how do we get the message out to all of our families? That remains
Mhm.
part of our, considerations moving forward.
Thank you.
All right, that's great. Trustee Rupp.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Gehring. Great presentation. Yeah, short and sweet. I just wanted to say how thankful I am that you and the teachers are able to support our most vulnerable in such a strong way. Society is often measured by how it supports its most vulnerable. So thanks for that. And of course, with working with the parents of these children as well.
Thank you.
Trustee Rai.
Thank you, Michelle. What a great presentation and what a nice video. And Trustee Kandarajwan stole some of my thunder about really good to see the increase in EA time. I just want to know two quick things. What does ASL interpreter means? What does ASL stand for? There are too many abbreviations everywhere.
That's a American Sign Language. So
Okay,
we have a few students in our district who are fully deaf, and we employ the services of an ASL interpreter to basically translate for them in the classroom so they can participate.
Oh, thank you. I think I knew that, but old
That's
age.
okay.
Old age was kicking in. And the CALM curriculum, that sounds like a really awesome piece. So can you just explain what happens there, or what do we do there? Maybe I need to come in there as well. Something.
So the COM curriculum, I for the life of me, I can't remember if COM stands for anything. We just always called it COM curriculum. It's a project out of the Child Development Center. It's an early intervention. So kindergarten, grade 1 program. It has, I don't know if you've been in schools, if you've seen Marvin the Monkey and all of that, that's part of COM. And so teaches students to, again, recognize emotions, talk about our feelings and how we express them, work through kind of those interpersonal challenges that they might have between students, and strategies for helping to feel calm. It also teaches students some of the neuroscience around how our brains work. And so, they were really key in teaching our little kids about, like, kindergartners around, when you get upset, you flip your lid because you go from your thinking brain to your, I think, loser brain, or I can't remember what they call it. So it does a lot of that teaching in the early years to build the awareness and the understanding so that you can regulate yourself and get along with your classmates. So it's a pretty good program.
No, thank you, Michelle.
One more comment, Trustee Kandarajwan.
Thanks, Chair Peterson. Just going to what you're saying there, Trustee Wright, if I'm not correct, Ms. Gehring, I think that's the program that started at the Child Development Center, right? That's like the Melvin or Marvin Monkey. My kids went through it, and it was phenomenal. It's so age appropriate for the early years of how to talk about what you're feeling. So it's very well done. Thank you.
I think we all need to take a class in that.
We could use a lot of this for sure. But I'll end by saying thank you for the presentation. Thank you to you and your staff for the great work you do. You take care of yourself. You get rid of that cough. We need you. And you have a great holiday season.
Thank you so much.
All right. And I'll turn it over to Superintendent Neng for our next presentation.
Great. Thank you, Chair Peterson. Happy to introduce Tracy Chris, our Director of Instruction for Curriculum. And so Director Chris will talk to the board about some of the work and significant progress being made in the areas of early learning, childcare, literacy, numeracy, language, and literacy strategies, along with technology integration, which is all part of the board's strategic plan with a focus on student success and engaging opportunities. So I will throw it over to Director Chris.
Thank you, Superintendent Nang. Carissa will be advancing my slides, and I'm excited to share our work with you from last year in the curriculum department and a little bit about where we're headed this year. This year in particular, we've been receiving so much positive feedback from the field about the alignment between the work that we're doing in different areas within our department, the co-sponsorship between our work and the level assistant superintendents, and then our clear focused work towards empowering educators while fostering collective efficacy and capacity. So we'll talk a little bit about last year, what we worked on. And most of our work, although not all of it, falls under the pillar of student success. Since June, we've made additional progress in expanding childcare in the district. Before and after school care has already increased by another 120 spots. Infant and toddler has increased by 22 spots. I wanted to show you these books that Santa was giving out this week at Strong Start. English books as well. These are being given out, I don't know how well you can see them, throughout the year at any sessions where we can bring the community together with ages 0 to 5. And we have brochures on helping your child to read, really wanting to bring that literacy into the family. And we have it in a variety of languages as well that families can choose from. And we're hoping to bring that literacy in 0 to 5. So focusing on literacy, our work last year and this year continues to be on aligning our professional learning and instructional support to our literacy framework. Using this as the North Star when we're planning and diving into the components of the framework that include balanced literacy, writing, and oral language. As I've mentioned before, our screener, we selected Acadians, and we have trained all KN1 teachers across the district who will be administering this screener 2 or 3 times throughout this school year. Another focus has been on aligning our assessment practices to support data-driven instruction, which will allow our educators to be more precise in their practice and provide quality Tier 1 instruction for all students. These are graphs that you've seen before. So just to summarize, in literacy, we are trending downward in FSA and report card data for grades 4 and 7. We're holding steady with the grade 10 grad assessment and report card data. This is reflective of what is happening in neighboring districts as well as provincially, and literacy is definitely at the forefront of every educator's mind. Our focus last year was on supporting educators with understanding essential strategies and tools to build students' sense of number, fact fluency, and computational skills, because we know that having a strong sense of number and being able to think flexibly about them is the foundation for success in numeracy. And these are our numeracy graphs, which you've also seen before. Although we see a slight decreasing trend in grade 4 and on report cards in grade 7, we're holding reasonably steady in numeracy performance, but that doesn't mean there isn't lots of room to improve. The discrepancy between the GNA and grade 10 report card marks also stands out, but we have received some good feedback from our recent district planning team meeting to help us in planning to move forward. A few of those nuggets, again, a little bit early, are increasing engagement and aligning in-class work to real-world scenarios. And a couple good examples were the daily cost and budgeting out a meal plan or menu plan for the week, and then how much groceries could cost or would cost. Planning someone's birthday party. And also another request was providing parents with more tools to help their children with numeracy at home. Our digital tools, we've really focused on using them to increase equitable access to lesson materials, communication with students and families. We've continued the great work with our community partners, and there was a civic field trip last spring that'll be repeated again and enhanced this year that was organized by Lynette and the ELL team, and it was featured last month in the BC Superintendent's Magazine for the province as well. Great things happening there. And another pillar we dabble in is engaging opportunities. So looking at technology, EdPlan Insight is our data management system for the district. And it has definitely, we've focused on increasing meaningful use of this tool so that we can know our learners better to provide the necessary precision in practice that's needed to best meet the next steps for learning for each student. And that's looking at this from a classroom, a school, and a district level. We're continuing to advance AI literacy and governance in the district, proceeding with caution and clarity, but also with optimism. And progressive workforce is our final pillar. Pauline is our mentorship helping teacher, and she collaborates with the helping teachers in our department and HR to foster community and mentorship for all new educators, but specifically last year added a focus on internationally educated teachers. She and her team strengthened teacher education partnerships and successfully prepared and onboarded our UTalks, which are uncertified teachers on call. And this slide summarizes some of our strategic successes. The Culture of Reading project that was in 11 schools last year, there were quite a diverse range of projects that each school wanted to dabble in, and we provided some support, but more of a financial support and some guidance, and had them come together. So schools were able to choose what they wanted to work on and put a proposal forward. And we definitely saw an increase for the love of reading in those schools through some of the different strategies that they use. So taking that information and informing our plan for this year was really helpful. So focusing on building not just a love of reading, but critical literacy skills throughout the district. And looking ahead to this year. So if I had to summarize our future plans that have already begun this year, the focus of all of our work, it comes down to 3 big goals: consistency in quality practice at every school, alignment between district departments, our department, and across all 3 levels with the strategic plan, data-informed decision-making, the importance of knowing every learner and making instructional decisions that help each student move forward on their own learning journey. And underpinning all of this is the value of collaborative, job-embedded learning, because when we learn together, we grow together.
Oh, love this.
And faces. This
Yes.
is what I teased you with a little bit about last time, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it now. So this really is about strengthening the collaborative culture of learning in the schools that we're working on faces. So there's 8 schools. This is our core business. Egos and titles are left at the door, and it truly is about the team working together to help determine the next best move for this student at this time. So a sample of student work is brought forward that's by a student of mystery that the teacher is curious about. They've identified where they believe they've identified an area of learning or growth for the student in an area of literacy or numeracy. Most of our schools are literacy right now, almost all of them are focusing on that. And they bring the sample of student work forward, and the team, which includes the principal leading the learning at the table with a knowledgeable other who's a helping teacher, and the team of teachers, 2 or 3 teachers from the school, they all look at the student work and they determine what might be happening for this student. So the classroom teacher will share like a really fulsome picture about knowing the learner. What are their strengths? What are their needs? What's some background that we might need to know about, looking at attendance, looking at how long they've been in school, historical data on EdPlan, previous grades, successes or challenges. And then the the teacher who is responsible for the student gets to make the decision in the end. This is what I'm going to work on for the next 6 weeks. But the team will make suggestions. So it's not about one person, even the helping teacher being the knowledgeable other, having all the answers. It's about the conversation and the collaborative learning of the team to move the learning forward for the student. So the teacher will decide, okay, I'm going to, in 6 weeks, I want this student to be able to do, and it's an incremental growth in an area that they've determined an area of need. In 6 weeks, I want to see this. The student will be able to. And then it's about what strategy will the teacher implement that may be new. It's often new or different or one they've forgotten about. What the teacher will do this one move differently over the next 6 weeks. And it's almost like an experiment to see, will this work? But it's done with evidence-based strategies. So we do expect it to work if we've diagnosed the issue correctly and we've selected a reasonable, excellent, evidence-based strategy, then we should see growth. So 3 weeks later, the teachers have some release time to work on developing their skills in the areas that they've decided to get better in. So whether that's having the helping teacher come in and co-teach or co-plan with them, the helping teacher cover a class, so the two teachers from the school might go together because maybe one of them is already using, for example, Words Their Way as a strategy, and they can show the other teacher and model it for them. It's really about building that collaborative culture. And then 3 weeks later, so 6 weeks in total, they come back to the table and the teacher for this student, and this happens for each teacher gets to present a student, will bring another piece of work. And so you're going to look at the evidence. You're going to look at the pre, you're going to look at the post. What do you notice? What do you wonder? Was the student successful in meeting their goal? Yes. Have we solved all the problems for this student in literacy and they're proficient now? Yes. Not usually after 6 weeks, but let's say they are. Then we move that student off and the teacher will pick another student to focus on. And what happens though, the magic of it is the collaboration among the team, the embedding of evidence-based, effective tier 1 instruction strategies. And then as the teacher tends to use the strategy with this one student, what they find is it's pretty effective. And so over the 6 weeks, what we have heard almost every teacher come back and say is, you know what, it was working so well, I decided to do it with my whole class. Or it was working so well, I found these other students who were struggling in a similar way, and I've made a small group. And we meet every day for 20 minutes. And one of the things that I really appreciated hearing from my team, and I'll tell you about what we do, is that one of the teachers said that they love this process because they have such a targeted focus that they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, they know how to measure it, and they know if it's working or not. And that really is that action research job embedded, which is going to move learning for every student. So then what happens is once a month or every 2 weeks, our team comes together, but about once a month, we sit around and we talk about what's happening on Faces on the Data at each of the schools. So there's different helping teachers assigned to support different schools. And so what we're learning from our lens is best practices, not just for instruction, but we're finding common areas of growth needed for students. Common things that teachers are finding are working really well to support student learning in literacy, different areas of literacy, and one site, numeracy. We're learning what works really well to support teachers. And we're also finding the value of having the principal as the lead learner at the table, and the degree to which the principal is involved and engaged is clearly being reflected on the success that the team is feeling. What I'm hoping to see at the end of the year is an improved performance for the grade for the Faces schools. That would tell me that this really worked. And it really spread across, at least for the teachers who are participating. If I can see increased growth in the area they focused on throughout the year for most students in their class or some students in their class, then I'm going to know that this was a really valuable investment of our time. We now have time and resources. We now have other schools who are hearing the word Faces and they're approaching us and saying, hey, I want to be a part of this too. So it is something I'm really excited about. It could take a couple years to see the level of growth and spread, but it is happening more organically, and each site is very different. So we're going to be able to refine our process next year based on our conversations and what we notice and wonder when we're looking at each of the FACES schools. So I'll tell you one more thing, and then you get to watch my video. Don't compare me to Michelle. Hers was lovely. Mine's lovely too, but you know. And then I will take questions. So partnered with FACES, Dr. Lynn Sherritt is the author of FACES on the Data. It was originally written in 2012, which is when I read it. And I just knew I've done the work. I know it makes a difference for kids and it makes a difference for teachers. I've refined the process over years, and now district-wide, it's a different process, but it is based off her work. And she wrote that book with Michael Fullen. So then there's this book. This one she wrote with Fullen, and the foreword's by John Hattie, and this is Clarity. So, and FACES was updated in 2022, and I'm also reading that one because it talks about post-pandemic, because there is a change and a shift, and it's really good. So Clarity is another book that Lynn and Michael Fullen and John Hattie wrote, and it's really easy. If we do these 14 things, then no matter what is happening, whatever noise is happening in your district or your world, students will be successful. 14 things, that's it. When I look at each one of those, it envelops everything that we know about teaching and learning and student success and well-being. So it's starting with, so we've partnered with Dr. Lynn Sherritt. It's her first time in British Columbia. She's worked all across Ontario. She's worked across some of the prairie provinces, and she's really big in Australia. But she came out for 2 days of learning the end of October because I sent her an email and I didn't agree with one of her principles anymore. I said, can I rephrase it back in the spring? And it was the book room one. And I think it still says book rooms of leveled books. And I said, that doesn't really reflect current, like we don't want just leveled books in there. We want other things. And so I said, can I revise it? Can I call it something else for a superintendent's meeting? And I was surprised when she responded. And I started fangirling because it's been like 2012. I have really believed in this woman's work and followed it. Anyways, we started talking, and then she Zoomed with me, and she Zoomed in with my team in June because I thought, she's been around a long time. I love her, but is she going to resonate with others who don't feel the same way necessarily that I do and don't know her yet? And she Zoomed in with our curriculum team, and it was the end of June. They were tired. Their celebration was in the afternoon, and they were set on fire by her presentation. And I'm like, okay, we need to get you out in Abbotsford. So we've committed to a partnership with her over the next 2 to 3 years.
Excuse me.
And so we met with her this morning. We had follow-up. She was here in October. And so we have those 8 schools. Those principals are invited to come, as well as district principals and members of the LSS department, the Indigenous department, and other school principals who showed an interest in the summer. So I have a total of about 12 principals who came. Pete Nuge was there both of the days. He would pop in, and they really liked that. The principals did because they felt that he was supportive of the work. And so we're really focusing right now on number 1, 6, and 14. And number 1 sounds easy. We need to have shared beliefs and understandings. We need to believe that all students can achieve to high standards given the right time and supports. All teachers can teach to high standards given the right time and supports, and that we have high expectations and early and ongoing intervention for all, and that all leaders, teachers, and students can articulate what they do, why they do it, and what they're learning. And that's the key. 6, the case management approach is our FACES. And 14, Lynn said that there were 13 parameters, and Michael Fullen insisted on 14. And that's the shared responsibility and accountability. And that's just that we are all responsible for all the FACES in the district. So although in our meetings, for example, we're talking about this one learner at this moment in time and what they need, it's not just that teacher's responsibility. It's a collective responsibility. And as a district leader, I am collectively responsible for all students in this district, not just some. And so really shifting our mindset, instead of thinking about these kids only, thinking about them, individualizing, personalizing, but also thinking about collective responsibility for all. And that was a lot. Carissa, I'm ready. So my video next? Because then I want to hear your questions. So now you get to see my video. This is my first video, hopefully my last if Christy's not listening, and it should carry me through till I retire. So enjoy. Hi, I'm Tracy Chris, Director of Instruction for the Abbotsford School District. In our curriculum department, our purpose is simple: to support teachers so they can best support our students. Everything we do is focused on helping every learner succeed, from early learning right through to graduation. This past year, our work reached students at every stage of their learning journey. In early learning, we expanded access to childcare with more than 200 new spaces, strengthened inclusive practices, and put a strong focus on early reading and language skills from birth to age 5. These early years make a big difference, and this work is helping children begin kindergarten with a strong foundation. In literacy, we worked with schools to better understand student progress and provide earlier support when it's needed. We expanded our culture of reading work in 11 schools and helped teachers use clear, timely information to guide their instruction, so students receive the right support at the right time. In numeracy, we focused on building strong number sense and working confidently with numbers through professional learning, classroom residencies, new diagnostic tools, and the development of our district's numeracy framework. For our multilingual learners, we expanded language supports, strengthened partnerships with families and community groups, and helped students and parents access learning in ways that reflect their language and their culture. This ensures all of our families feel welcome, informed, and connected to their school community. Through responsible technology integration, we have improved family communication, strengthened data-informed decision-making, and prioritized ethical and equitable use of digital tools, including growing our district's capacity in AI literacy and governance. At the heart of all of this work are our people. This year, we supported new teachers, helped internationally trained teachers transition into our schools, strengthened partnerships with universities, and focused on recruiting teachers in high-need areas. When we invest in our educators, students will benefit in every way. As we look ahead, our focus is on consistency, alignment, and personalization. In the coming year, we will fully implement the literacy framework, launch the numeracy framework, expand targeted interventions, and deepen community engagement with a multilingual and inclusive lens. We are also strengthening job-embedded professional learning and using data more intentionally to guide our instructional decisions. Our team is excited about the process and the journey in deepening collective responsibility for every learner through the FACES project and our partnership with Dr. Lynn Charette on Clarity. This work is transforming how we know, support, and challenge each student and how we build capacity together as educators. In Abbotsford School District, putting faces on the data means more than numbers. It's about seeing the individual behind every data point. The FACES framework helps school teams, teachers, administrators, LSS, and ELL staff establish a shared language to identify learning gaps, set personalized goals, and implement targeted interventions. Our approach is rooted in Dr. Lynn Charette's 14 parameters, guiding us towards shared beliefs, early intervention, and collective accountability. Our curriculum department is proud to work alongside educators, families, and community partners to help every student feel supported, included, and ready for success. Together, we remain focused on creating meaningful learning experiences for every student. And now I'll take your questions, I think.
I'm already looking forward to your next video.
Thanks, Stan.
Okay, Trustee White.
Thank you, Chair Peterson. Ms. Chris, that was just absolutely amazing. I was personally blown away by that. I don't know how many, I don't think I've heard the words data-driven, evidence-based so many times in a presentation. And I certainly don't feel like I was hearing that as often many years ago. So I'm really happy to see what you're doing with that doctor's work. Sorry, I don't remember her name, but I can see why you're excited about it. And just say to my fellow trustees, let's do that across the whole district on every subject, on everything we do. I love how you're basically experimenting with kids. Hey, let's try this one thing. Like, you're doing A/B testing on kids. You are sciencing the heck out of learning. And I know many of my colleagues will share my excitement on that. I've been championing a lot of this kind of stuff for years, but I'm not an educator. To see it happening is just amazing. I'm just very impressed. Thank you very much, Ms. Chris.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Great comments, Trustee White. Trustee Wilson.
Thank you, Chair Peterson. Ms. Chris, when you first talked about this, to me anyways, in the spring, you were like, your exuberance was like so over the top. And that you're able to take this and put it into play. You are lucky.
I am.
I was pleased to hear North Star and talk about individuals, but yet it's a team piece. And I really appreciate that. And like the chair, I also look forward to your next video. But same question as I had from Ms. Gehring about were there any of your, it's not the strategies, but the rest of it, objectives that you sort of set aside because they weren't going to be possible, didn't work, and what are your plans for those going ahead as it relates to the board's strategic plan?
So last year, when I came into the role, I had 25 objectives. There is no way you can effectively do 25 different things strategically, even if they fit with the strategic plan. You can't do them well and you can't do them with precision. So not only have what we've done is we've aligned the work. So part of the work last year was seeing where our helping teachers, because we have ELL, we have digital learning, we have literacy, we have numeracy, we have mentorship, and languages, but it was about seeing where their work intersected and what were some of the things that were common and how we were supporting schools so we could streamline what we're doing into 8 or 9 objectives. I think we gave in at 9. I think I wanted 8. So we've aligned our work within our department. And so we're really being strategic and picky about what we're working on this year and how we're measuring it. That was something that was different at the beginning of setting our strategic or our operational plan for this year. We put in our measures for success. How will we know this is working? And the conversation now is, okay, so if it's not working, what are we going to change it to? So it's really about being strategic, being aligned, but also coming up with those measurable outcomes along the way and changing if we need to. Like if I have to say, you know what, this isn't working and it was my idea, then my ego's at the door and this is not working. The evidence is showing it's not. We need to shift. So yeah, that's kind of the biggest difference this year.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Chris.
All right. Trustee Kandarajwan.
There she is.
Thank you, Chair Peterson. Hi, Ms. Chris.
Hi, Ruby.
Great presentation. And we go back a long way for like many years. I used to be the principal at my school. So to see where we are today is pretty neat and how literacy is changing. And the teachers are doing great innovative ways to create opportunity for children to learn. So I have a couple questions. So I'm sorry if I got this wrong, but am I correct to say that this program for FACES is for students who need support, but doesn't mean that they have a disability or diagnosis, right? Is that correct?
Not necessarily. They don't necessarily need support. It usually it would be a regular evidence-based classroom practice that should move them forward. So it's a student who is maybe at a developing level or a level 2, not necessarily a student who's emerging, although you could. It would just take longer to see the growth if you choose the right strategy. But it's more for that it would be more about the students who would be on the bubble, that if you just did the right thing at the right
Yeah.
time, they could become proficient and confident learners. So
Yeah,
it's more about that.
I appreciate that, because sometimes when I volunteer in the schools and we're doing the reading books, there's
Mhm.
some students that they're on the bubble. They need that extra support. So this is a great way to do that. So I'm curious then, like, how would the child be selected for a part of the FACES plan once it's implemented?
Mhm.
Would it be dependent on short-term or long-term goals? And would you think we would need to hire additional staff to offer that time for release time, as you mentioned, for staff to do that work? I'm just curious.
Yes and no. So it's the teacher's choice. It's somebody they're curious about. It's not necessarily a student who is struggling the most in the class. It's somebody who they may be struggling to support, and they want like kind of a team intervention or idea to go and try for 6 weeks and come back and measure its effectiveness. Where we're spending the money, the big money is to release the teachers to have these job embedded, because that's part of the key for this, is that the learning is job embedded. It's not outside of the school environment after school in a workshop where I stand and deliver and I tell you these 10 things are going to be awesome if you just do them.
Right.
It's about you coming up with a need, the team giving you some suggestions. The teacher owns the choice of which strategy they're going to implement, so they're confident giving it a go. And it is about giving it a go. Give it a go, come back in 6 weeks, let's see if it made a difference. So I did get money from the board. I hope you remember you gave me money for this, because I will be asking again this year. And you gave me $45,000. And then I would say a significant chunk of my budget as well is going to provide the TOC release time for the schools. So rather than buying stuff, I'm buying time, and I'm providing the support in that job embedded scenario for the learning to happen. And we're still doing great Pro-D. And the people who come to Pro-D and really love it and take ideas back are still doing that. But we're also, and so these teachers are sharing at staff meetings. Lynn Sherritt talked about data walls to know every learner in your building. And there will be a video coming. Christy's on here. She's committed to it in the new year. There will be a video coming from a couple of the principals and the successes they're finding in their schools, because seeing principals on fire for new learning that's about data and students and their teachers is pretty awesome too. So does that answer your questions?
Yeah, it does. And thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Trustee Kaler.
Thank you, Chair Peterson, and thank you, Ms. Chris. Your excitement says everything. It's just so amazing to see everything going on. And maybe you don't have the numbers. I do have a question, but this just came up. Do you know how many languages are spoken in our district with when it comes to students?
So I would have said over 90, but recently Lynette and I have been talking about it for the brochures, and she's taking the top 5. She says over 100.
Wow.
Over 100 languages are spoken in the Abbotsford School District, and that we are the 3rd most diverse community in Canada. So,
Really?
so we're an amazing place for all of these things to happen. And if I can just quickly say, I'm able to do this work and the things that are happening because of the support of the board, but also because of the support of our senior team. And so our work is aligned, and that is the difference that people are noticing and naming this year, is they're seeing that through line to the strategic plan, to what's happening in the levels and the senior team, to what's happening in curriculum, LSS, in the schools. So we're in a really lucky place.
Absolutely, we sure are. Okay, a quick question. So the introduction of the family portal, have you seen or has the team seen an increase when it comes to family communication and just overall engagement?
It's not great. It's not bad. It's good. It's like 30-something%. Like I'd say 30-something% of parents or families will log on and download, and this is for secondary only, and download the learning updates. MyEd is releasing a new update and an app, so it's supposed to make it easier. I think they flipped the switch in January. It's supposed to make it easier to be able to log on to the portal and get access right from your phone. So we're hoping that that will encourage more people, more families to log on. I think it's definitely seen an increase in engagement from families who may not have had access to the report card before. Because if I have a grade 10 student and he's not doing so well, he's not going to log on to MyEd to show me the learning update. He's going to make that as hard as possible for me. So if I have my own login and I can log in and I can still check. Now, I can't really see consistently progress across the district in the same way for every school, every student yet. We're working on an assessment inquiry in secondary, but it starts with values and beliefs. So that's a bigger journey. But what I can is I can log on and see absences. Sometimes I can log on and see different assessments. I can definitely get the grad status update, and I can get the learning updates quarterly when they're posted. So I would love to see 100% of people loving MyEd, logging in, and maybe we'll get there.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. We honestly do appreciate everything you do. It's important and special work.
Thank you.
Trustee Rye.
Tracy, wow. That's the one word I can say. Amazing stuff going on, and thank you. I have two questions, maybe you might be able to answer or not. First, the partnerships that's happening with the local teacher education programs. Can you speak a little bit more about it? Because with this shortage of teachers and all the kind of stuff, I think anytime you have these partnerships, we just take them all. So can you speak a little bit more about it? And the second question is about a number of years ago, in most of the French immersion, like Chief Dan, there were two classes each in grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, and we had to bring them down to one classes each because of not having enough French teachers. And I see in here that 6 French teachers were hired this year. Are we thinking about it or on track to maybe give more choice to French speaking students, or is it still a bit too far away to go back to 2 classes?
So your questions center really on recruitment, and so we're doing some really standard things. We show up at the right fairs. We look at the fairs that successfully bring us candidates back to the district where we have hires. And we strategically go to those ones. Usually it's Natalie and friends, Colleen, and they'll go out. So for example, in Winnipeg, they went to a Francophone university, and they were trying to recruit French teachers, and nobody came. And they would go to Toronto, and we would be successful, and we would be able to recruit French teachers. And so when they were debriefing it, one of the things that's in common is the cost of living. The cost of living in Toronto is comparable to here. So when you come here, you're not like shocked, hopefully. I still was a little bit, but not totally shocked. Whereas when you come from somewhere like Winnipeg, where the cost of living is easier or lower perhaps, you wouldn't want to make that jump to somewhere where it's going to cost you that much more to rent or buy a house. So we're strategically going to places where we know we're going to be more successful. And then we have partnerships with SFU, and we have their candidates come out, and we do, Colleen, and not me, but Colleen will bring them through, and the helping teachers, and we'll host them in our department, and we'll answer their questions. She'll take them on a tour. That's really effective. Our partnership with UFV is something special because it's local, and we have a lot of retired teachers who are now faculty advisors at UFV. So we stay in touch with them. We invite them to things, professional learning or work that we're doing. So when they're looking for placements, they're calling us first. And so we're trying to get them placements in our schools, and then we're trying to show them what Abbotsford can offer as far as support. And Colleen and her team are amazing at that. And so we want to make them want to work here. And the other thing that's kind of a little more organic is when UFV is looking for a presentation on AI literacy. or something to do with numeracy, our helping teachers will always say yes. And they say yes because they get in front of teacher candidates, and then teacher candidates can see, wow, if I go to Abbotsford, I'm going to be so well supported because look at what they're doing. So that's kind of how we're moving with that. French teachers, it's still a choice program. We have seen an overall decline in attendance at the French information nights last year specifically. So we're curious to see how that plays out when the programs open up for registration, because if we're not sure that the appetite is still there the same way it was, or maybe it was just an odd year. My kids both went through French immersion. When we came here, my son chose not to continue and my daughter did, and super proud of that double dogwood. So it's a great program, and we definitely want to keep it alive. We'll have to see where our interest is at. Probably late January, we should have a good idea.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. And kudos to you and to your staff. Thank you for doing such an amazing
I'll tell
job.
them. Thank you.
Thanks.
Trustee Roach.
Yeah, Tracy, great presentation. You gave us a sneak peek during Ed committee last week, and you were enthusiastic then, and you're enthusiastic again. And I think you can tell by all the questions that the trustees are asking how enthusiastic we are about your work. Yeah, it's so great. You know, our focus is on literacy and numeracy these days, and especially with the younger demographic of kids, that's where the big differences can be made. So thank you for that. I love the FACES program. The collaborative nature of it is super. I don't have a lot of questions for you. I just wanted to say how amazed I am, you know, and that you should just keep doing that. I hope this sets an example of like a concept that we can expand, as Trustee White said, into other areas of the curriculum. It's practical, it's not theoretical, and perhaps that next step is also then the engagement with the parents and trying to, when you talked about French here just now, I sort of gives me a bit of concern when you don't see the turnout, and I think part of it is just busy parents, and it's up to us to reach out to parents and show them what we have available for their kids. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Well, I'm going to finish by saying I'm not sure I've ever seen my colleagues so excited about something, all of us so excited about something. And probably, I think Trustee White probably showed the most excitement and kind of shared how we all feel about this. That's awesome. A huge thank you to you and your team for the great work you're doing, and keep it going. I can hardly wait till your next report.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Take care. All the best. All right. Next up is, where are we? We are on Board Authority Authorized Courses, or in this case, course. And I'm sure Superintendent Ng, this is in your bailiwick, correct?
It is. Thank you, Chair Peterson. So I would bring a recommendation to the board around a course that has been reviewed. It's a BAA Event Planning and Leadership 11 course. So there's information there for you in the staff report around our process for bringing a board authority authorized course to you. So this particular course has been reviewed and vetted through ministry criteria, and it is to change our existing or replace an existing Leadership 11 course with an Event Planning and Leadership 11, which would include an Applied Design Skills technology component, so that it could meet the credit requirement if a student chose to take it, the ADST component of the grad program. So the recommendation would be that the board approve the BAA Event Planning and Leadership 11 as a board authority authorized course, and further that the Board of Education approve the replacement of BAA Leadership 11 with this BAA Event Planning and Leadership 11.
Move with a comment.
All right, thank you. Trustee
Seconded.
Wilson, seconded. Trustee Roach. All right, comment?
Thank you. Yeah, my
Yeah.
comment is just, while I was reading through, first of all, I'm really impressed. I am an event specialist by trade. So seeing this come into the leadership realm in our high schools, totally exciting. And I'm not surprised by the authors, I have to say that. Kudos to them. But also, one of the goals that I just wanted to highlight that is not included in here, but I think is really important to recognize is that of budgeting. Budgeting in the original report isn't highlighted, but it's hard to, or maybe it was a document itself. I wrote it down, so I know it somewhere. But the reality is you can't put on an event without a budget, and being able to figure out the budget and getting the sponsorships if they are required, which often happens in our leadership events, is also really important. And so I'm really excited for the students that get to follow through with this, that come from behind, and none of this was offered when I was in high school, not even recently anywhere else. These usually come because they aren't offered in any schools. That even as a post-secondary course, fund development and events and those kinds of things were not an option until the last few years. So kudos to the authors, and thanks for bringing this forward. Happy to support.
All right, Trustee Roach.
Yeah, thank you. I'm curious to know on the ADST component, which other courses might fulfill that requirement, and whether this is sort of complementary to those courses or replacing any of them. Just curiosity on that.
Yeah, I'd have to follow up, Trustee Rauch, with other options that exist that would fulfill that ADST requirement as part of the grad program. So I'm certainly happy to bring that back, and I know part of it was to ensure this has been historically, I'll say, the Leadership 11 course, a popular and important course, and the authors felt that by adding the event planning, it just gave it a little bit more meaning for students as it led to graduation. But I'm happy to bring back the other options that are available for the ADST component of the grad program.
Great, thank you.
Okay, seeing no other comments, this is an action item. So, I'm sorry, Trustee Kaler.
That's okay. Thank you, Chair Peterson. I raised my hand a little later.
Sorry, missed you.
Thank you, Superintendent, for bringing this forward alongside with your team, with someone with a background in event planning. It's exciting to see this come into play. It's important and teaches a lot. And just a comment. I was very excited to see this. Thank you.
All right, great. So our voting buttons are up. Looks like it's that time. Okay. And an information item, Community Matters Award. Superintendent Ning, do you want to speak to that, or?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
I can bring it up. So every June, the Community Matters Award is presented by the board to organizations or individuals who have exceeded their community service mandate. And have made significant contributions to the students in our school district. And so there's a long history of community involvement with our schools, and this is the board's way of recognizing exceptional organizations and individuals, and bring to the public's attention that our nomination period for the 2026 Community Matters Awards will open up in January 2026. So in previous years, it would have opened up prior to the new year, but this year we'll be opening nominations in January. And for more information on the details around nomination criteria and timelines, it can be found at our www.abbeyschools.ca.
Great, thank you for that. Okay, I think that ends all the reports on education. We're into operations. Secretary Treasurer Neal, we have two items here, starting with the budget guiding principles.
Thank you, Chair. So as part of the board's process in planning towards next year's budget, we bring forward the budget guiding principles this time of year. The board has approved their mapping and calendar for budget process. And so we're providing this here. As you can see there, we're providing 5 guiding principles, which are very exactly the same as previous years. So maximize the allocation of resources to support the goals and priorities in the strategic plan. Commit to building a strong understanding of budget information through ongoing communications. Maintain a 3-year budget plan to ensure funding sources can support program initiatives. Maintain surplus reserve balances to respond to emergent needs, which are captured as, again, under our administrative procedure. And maintain a strong fiscal management policy. So as you can see there, we both have the guiding principles and the district response to those principles. And I submit this for your consideration as a Board of Education, for your support as we move forward into the budget process coming very shortly, starting in January.
Thank you for that.
Welcome any questions.
Thank you for that. Yes, and this is not an action item, but if you have any questions, and I can't see everybody, so maybe there we go. I'm not seeing any questions, so thank you for that. And we recently had a by-election, and we welcome Trustee Kaler to our team. We were looking at sharing formally the results and the costs of that process.
Yeah,
turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I appreciate it. And again, we're not looking for a motion on this, but in this particular case, you can see the report in front of you. We use the city's report because the city does run our elections. And again, very successful election, and similar to you, I welcome Trustee Kaler. As you can see here, the estimate is somewhere less than 200,000. Our best estimate, and this would be on your page, on their report, page 21 of 235. We anticipate the overall cost to be somewhere in the area of more than 180, but less than 200,000. And we did anticipate a higher amount as part of our initial estimate when we started this process in the spring, and very happy to share that the city put in process a series of considerations that really kind of made it more cost effective for us, and reduced the cost, but also obviously achieved a good result. So I submit this for information.
Thank you very much. And we appreciate that. I know we were concerned with the cost to the district in having an election, and we asked the ministry to excuse us from these costs, but that wasn't accepted. But the good news is it's less than what we were planning. So I appreciate that report. Any comments? Thumbs up. I'm seeing thumbs up. All right. That's good.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Okay. Now, reports by representatives on external organizations. DCSTA, is that for information only, or is any, Trustee Wilson, did you have comments on that?
Yes, thank you, Chair Peterson. This is just specifically to state that we had two updates for the board. One is that we did have a branch meeting November 29th and at BCSTA, and have elected a president. So Margaret Reed from Chilliwack, and accordingly, following that, we have now booked a meeting for the branch to be held in Abbotsford on January 19th. Subsequent to previous requests regarding sharing the cost of a sponsorship of the Fraser Valley Diversity Awards, conversations have been had, requests have been made, and through the superintendent, we are reaching out to other districts/boards, depending on their decision-making process, for them to share the cost. And once we know who, then, and I believe there will be 3 others joining us potentially, that would reduce the cost of the sponsorship, but then it would also add presenters to the evening as well. And for our part, it would change. It's not sponsored by the Abbotsford Board of Education. It would be by those who decide to join us in this endeavor, recognizing their own students rather than just us recognizing their students as well. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you.
Okay. And BCPC, Trustee Kandarajman.
Oh, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to extend what Trustee Wilson was saying there, is that I appreciate that we had that conversation with other branches of that sponsorship. It's good to see.
Okay. And did you have something regarding BCPC? Or is
Yes,
that
I do.
for information? Okay. Thank you.
Sorry. We have the virtual annual AGM coming up on January the 29th. And nominations were in on December the 1st.
Okay. Any other comments? If not, we're moving on to trustee meetings and events, and you can see the list there. Any comments on anything that you've attended? I've got a couple myself, but if yes, Trustee Kaler.
Thank you, Chair. I was very honored and excited to, for the first time, if I'm not wrong, first time ever lay wreath on behalf of the Abbotsford School District and Board of Education on Remembrance Day at Thunderbird Square. That was a great moment, and I also attended, I believe, 9 out of 12 items listed here. So the Archway Community Builders Awards, Chamber of Commerce, and I won't list them all, but it's just so exciting to get out there and meet so many people and share all of the positive impacts we're making on the district and students. And so those 9 were plus 4 more. So since our last public board meeting till today, I've had the honor of attending a lot of events and meeting a lot of good people and sharing some good stories. So thank you.
We do have a wonderful community, and it's great to see our impact in so many ways. Yes. Trustee Kandarajman.
Thank you, Chair. On October 21st, we had a public meeting where the Rick Hansen presented about the students and promoting literacy, and they talked about the readathon on November the 25th. So I attended that day at Rick Hansen, and it was so great to see all these students. They celebrated with pizza, and they fundraised, and they made about $1,100, and that goes towards having new books in their school. And I got to read a few chapters in my book as well, and it was just great to see a space promoting literacy.
Thank you for that. Trustee Wilson.
Yeah, thank you. I don't want to burst Trustee Kaler's bubble, but you're not the first, but you are the first since COVID. And we have not been invited back to lay a wreath, and it's through advocacy of previous chairs that we were able to bring that about. And we're really, really excited about that, at least 3 previous chairs. So it was really nice. And thank you for doing that on our behalf. It's really important. I also just wanted to mention the district planning team meeting that Ms. Chris referenced in her report. The district planning team meetings have been really important in connecting with our youth who are receiving what we were providing through our strategic plan and through all the other areas that we provide education to our students, whether they're mandated, strategic plan, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes just a personalized learning opportunity that proves to be fruitful for that student. What I have been particularly impressed with for the last 2 is because we have an ongoing focus that hasn't shifted for at least 2 decades around literacy and numeracy, is having students take a look at the literacy and numeracy results. And their insight was actually quite profound. And both of these were quite possibly 2 of the best district planning team meetings that I've been to in terms of the student feedback. And I just wanted to express appreciation to the superintendent and his leadership team for this work. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Roche.
Yeah, thank you. I attended the Chamber of Commerce Business Excellence Awards, and it always reminds me when we see businesses in Abbotsford and all the good things happening there that we really should be focusing as much as possible on connecting industry and local businesses with our schools. And we've talked about this a lot in the past. So I just thought it's worth mentioning again. It also came up during, as Trustee Wilson said, our district planning team meeting, the idea of relevance when it comes to the literacy and numeracy tests. You know, kids were saying they want to see relevance of the school program with what happens out in the real world. So yeah, it'd be great. Like maybe we can put that on our radar to talk about more. I know we do a lot of that already, but the more of that, the better. It'll inspire kids to keep learning and get a great job when they get out of school.
Thank you for that. Well, I'll finish then by saying I had the great pleasure of attending the Toys for Tots event. That's a tongue twister for me, at the Clarion on November 23rd. Not only was it great to see the number of donations, but our very own teacher, Joel Knopfel, who is the music teacher at Abbey Middle, had a collection of students from different middle schools, and they and two singers, and they sang and they presented Christmas carols in kind of a rock band version of that. And wow, what amazing music that was. So congratulations to that group and to teacher Joel Knopfel for that. I also, along with Superintendent Ning, attended the 4A final of the football season, in which our Mowat team was involved. Wow, what a game. I mean, we were 2 yards from probably winning the whole darn thing late in the game. But it was a tremendous game, and huge thank you to the coaches for the great work they've put in with these great athletes and athletes. Well done. I know there's disappointment, but boy, you sure entertained us all year long, and that final was awesome. And just an announcement of a future event, and it started even in fact tonight. The city basketball tournament sponsored by the Abbotsford Police started tonight. It goes tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, with the finals of all of the divisions on Saturday at UFV, a change from where it has been over the last number of years. And what do you know? In the second to last game at senior girls game, we will have an honorary jump ball, and our very own superintendent will be doing that. So if you haven't had a chance you can walk into almost any of the gyms that are being used and see great basketball. It's all online. I won't tell you where all this is, but you can find it online. And thank you for all the good people who are coaching our teams and working with our students. 61 teams, I believe, over 900 athletes are involved over this period of time. Okay, with that, I guess I'll ask at this time if there were any online questions for us. Do we have an answer to that?
None.
No online questions. All right. Well, then I'm going to, with a reminder to trustees and Superintendent Ning that we have some more work to do. Are we okay with 5 minutes before we get back online to complete that work?
Merry Christmas.
And given that this is the last board meeting of the 2026, to our students, our parents, to our teachers, support staff, everyone in our amazing school community, on behalf of the board, I wish you the very merriest of Christmas and great happiness and great learning in the new year. We are